fall down, but we get up. For our Savior's just the sinner who fell down and got up. Say we fall down, but we get up. We fall down, but we get up. We fall down, but we get up. Oh yes, for a Savior's just the sinner who fell down and got up. Say it now. We fall down, but we get up. We fall down, but we get up. We fall down, but we get up. Oh yes, for a Savior's just the sinner who fell down and got up. No matter what you do, you can get back up again. 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 Whoa, whoa, whoa. For a Savior's just the sinner who fell down and got up.
As we come together in collective consciousness, let us remember who and whose we are, children of God, the one power, one presence, flowing in and through all of creation. There is no time, no space, no beginning, and no end to the infinite. It is in everything and everyone. It is love in action, life in motion. And knowing it is God that guides and directs our service here this morning, let us be open and receptive to the words and the messages of Spirit. And when we listen, let us listen not just with our ears, but with our heart, our soul, and our whole being. For God is everywhere present, speaking with us all the time, guiding, inspiring, and directing us to be the very best version of ourselves. When we listen to our source and our supply, then we have chosen to walk on a spiritual path to freedom. We have the ability to create our heart's desired and to build a world that works for everyone. Knowing this to be our truth and so much more, I say thank you. Thank you, God, for the ability for us to come together this morning to learn, to grow, and to celebrate in community. With a grateful, loving heart, I release these words out into the universal law. I release, I let go, I trust, and I know that Spirit is our guide. And so it is.
Sowing seeds of love and kindness,
tomorrow's children of the light.
Good morning. My name is Chantel, and I welcome you to our Sunday spiritual experience. We are Verity Centre for Better Living, a New Thought teaching ministry founded by the Reverend Evan Reed. We are also a member of the Universal Foundation for Better Living. Namaskar. If you are joining us for the first time, it is my pleasure to greet you on behalf of the Board of Directors and our members. It is my hope that something said or done today will make a positive difference in your life. Please know that we accept you, respect you, and appreciate you. If you have any questions or need to find out more about the center, please visit our website at veritycentre.org or follow us on Facebook. We thank you for spending this time with us. Our vision is creating and maintaining a spiritually based community that facilitates enlightenment, enrichment, and empowerment. Our mission is offering spiritually based principles and techniques to those who are seeking to live healthier, happier, and more prosperous lives. Our motto is always verifying the truth, vivifying the spirit, vitalizing the soul. We offer a full range of sacerdotal services, classes, and spiritual coaching. There are also opportunities to be an active part of this community. Please visit our website or contact the office. Please affirm the opening statement with me. It is on your screen. Moment by moment, I receive the impress of spirit. Today, I choose to listen and to act. Infinite blessings abound as a result of my commitment to accepting the direction of spirit. Please turn to the page after the center page of your daily inspiration publication, and I will be reading beliefs 7 to 9. They are also on your screen. We believe that rather than devoting our primary efforts to providing for the needy of the world, the time has come to make available to all people everywhere a teaching that will enable them to provide for themselves by learning to release the divine potential within them. We believe that the Universal Foundation for Better Living is a vehicle for the spreading of such a teaching. We believe that a mighty new wind is blowing. People everywhere are hungry for practical techniques that will show them how to fulfill the good desires of their hearts. We in the UFBL believe that we have these techniques, and we offer them to everyone without distinction, confident that with the help of the Holy Spirit, we can teach all who are willing to learn how to overcome whatever would keep them from their highest good. We believe in God, we believe in humanity, we believe in the Universal Foundation for Better Living, and so it is. Today's inspirational reading is found on page 12. Spiritual independence. In the United States, the 4th of July finds family and friends celebrating and gathering for a fun-filled day of food and festivities. The holiday commemorates the passage of the Declaration of Independence in 1776, declaring independence from British rule. As I think about this event, I reflect on how I too made a declaration and gained spiritual independence over thoughts foreign to my spiritual nature that once had power and control over my life. There was a time when my mind was like a battlefield filled with struggles, conflicts, trials, and error beliefs. but acknowledging my oneness with God and my spiritual power have helped me understand and create better ways of thinking, feeling, speaking, acting, and reacting. Let today be your day of spiritual liberation. Face any warring thoughts that try to defy peace and tranquility in your life. Claim your freedom as a spiritual being. The scriptural text is taken from 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 17. Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And so it is. Please listen to the announcements.
Hey, good morning, Verity family. I'm Shem, and here are your morning announcements. The daily call to love meditation continues Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. The link is in the Verity News You Can Use email. Now, to receive that, the phone-in information, I should say, please leave a message at 416-240-1956. Sunday meditation continues each and every Sunday, so please join us 10:35 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. There is Sunday school today at 4 p.m. To receive the link, please email veritycenter@gmail.com. Again, veritycenter@gmail.com. There is no Living the Bible Breakaway on Wednesday this week. So keep that in mind. No Living the Bible Breakaway on Wednesday this week. Please continue to submit your photos for the art gallery to verityvibe1@gmail.com, and they will be featured once a month during fellowship. Question: who are the people in your neighborhood? Think about it. Now, do you know the people in our Verity community? Well, you can get a chance to put that to the test and learn a little bit more during fellowship one Sunday each month. Now, Verity Vibe is asking you to send in a picture of your past or your present, along with some of the following information, like your month of birth, your occupation, past or present, hobbies, some interesting facts, some skills, anything that you've got. Send that information to verityvibe1@gmail.com. Again, verityvibe1@gmail.com, and let us get to know you and also have some fun along the way, all right? Save this date. Special movie night is happening this Friday. That's right, this Friday, July 9th at 7 p.m. Now, the movie is Our Dance of Revolution, a powerful documentary plus a Q&A with the producer after the movie. There is no cost to attend. You just got to show up. That's it. The link will be in the Verity News You Can Use email. And the daily inspirations have been mailed out and or picked up. There are 5 copies remaining. Please call or email the office if you would like to purchase one. I'm Shem. Those are your morning announcements.
For Sunday school, the time for today's session is at 3 p.m. Eastern instead of our regular time of 4 p.m. Let us prepare for a moment of conscious communion with our source and supply.
Create in me a clean heart and purify me, purify me. Create in me a clean heart so I may worship thee. Create in me a clean heart and purify me, purify me. Create in me a clean heart so I may worship thee.
Take a moment and be still. As you begin your journey inward, if it feels comfortable, close your eyes and just be. Be present in this moment called now, in this allness called God. For there is only ever one love, one law, one life. The one infinite divine being that beats within the heart of our soul. The creative energy of the universe that is expressing itself in you, as you, and through you. And when you allow yourself to enter into the silence, you understand that you are in direct communication with God. It is a time to relax and be still, to be open and receptive to the messages from on high. For God is everywhere present, guiding you, directing you, supporting you. And when you act and react to your life experiences, knowing that everything, your thoughts, your ideas, your feelings are born of God, then you know that you are on the path of absolute good. And when you are opened and receptive to the words of God, and when you respond and act accordingly, then you are raising your level of consciousness a little bit more and a little bit more every time you act from a place of love. Remember that you are never alone, that Spirit is always by your side, step by step. Wherever you are, God is. So let that which you were called to be flow out into the universe with the grace, the ease, and the guidance of the Holy Spirit that radiates within inside of you. And know that you are God in action, love in motion, and that you have everything within you to create your heart's desire and to build a world that works for everyone. So simply listen. And as you listen, respond with a heart full of love and follow in the steps of infinite wisdom. Now take a deep, cleansing breath in and slowly and gently bring yourself back to the present, back to full consciousness, back to this moment. And when you are ready, open your eyes and feel the presence of God all around. And know that no matter where you stand, you are on holy ground. And so it is.
Cast me not away from thy presence. Please don't take your spirit from me. And restore the joy of salvation, so that I may worship thee. Create in me a clean heart and purify me. Create in me a clean heart, so I may worship thee.
The thought for the week is by the Reverend Evan Reed. I've never been to this moment before. In order to experience and appreciate it fully, I must stop thinking of the past or the future and place my attention on this moment completely. We will now have a musical selection by Voices of Praise.
Let the weak say I am strong. Let the poor say I am rich. Let the blind say I can see. It's what the Lord has done in me. Let the weak say I am strong. Let the poor say I am rich. Let the blind say I can see. It's what the Lord has done in me. Hosanna, Hosanna, I will find God's love within. Hosanna, Hosanna, Christ in me will rise again. Hosanna, Hosanna, I will find God's love within. Hosanna, Hosanna, Christ in me will rise again.
Into the river I'll wade, then my sins are washed away. Flowing through me, I can feel the Creator's love for me.
I will rise from waters deep with the love of God in me. I will sing salvation songs. Christ within has set me free. Hosanna, Hosanna, I will find God's love within. Hosanna, Hosanna, Christ in me will rise again. Hosanna, Hosanna, I will find God's love within. Hosanna, Hosanna, Christ in me will rise again. Let the weak say I am strong. Let the poor say I am rich. Let the blind say I can see. It's what the Lord has done in me.
Today's lesson, Listen and Respond, will be given by the Reverend Barbara Schreiner-Trudel.
Thank you, Chantel. Well, it's such a joy to be here today. And I received a message last week that really touched my heart. And so when I was thinking about what to share this week, I thought, wow, there are so many stories. There's so many things I could share. So the idea is to listen and respond. How many times do we receive a message from the divine and we go, yeah, maybe later? Or, yeah, I don't think that would go over very well. Let me talk to my friends or my family. Let me check around and see what people think, whether or not I should do that. Have you ever done that? Have you ever sat back and said, what should I do now? Should I follow the prompting or should I question, doubt, fear? So I know in the last year and a half, there's been a fair bit of fear going on. And we have been living in a little bubble of our own homes. And now it's time to start stepping out again And that might bring up some fear for some people. And for those of us who've been a bit fearful over the last year and a half, well, maybe it's time to let that go. We need to remember here and now that God is the creative power of the universe. It's infinite, loving, it is everywhere present, it is powerful, productive. It's right here where I am, it's right there where you are. So, can we just breathe into that and begin to receive that inspiration and allow it to be the guiding force and light for our lives? Okay, so I'm going to share just a little bit of the message that I received last week that kind of inspired this. It was called the shoulder tap. And I watched this video and I thought, oh my gosh, it's such a great story. And I realized that I have had many of those shoulder taps. So let's just back up a little bit. When I was 27 years old, my husband left me with little kids, left me upset and hurt and depressed, and my children were angry. And so it was really, really hard to just be in that place. And so after a few months, things were getting harder and harder. And one day I thought, I'm done. I was ready to pack it in. I decided that I would have family members care for my kids and that I was going to go and take my life. Now, funny thing happened. Back to the shoulder tap. I get a phone call just as I'm getting ready to leave the house, put my plan into effect. And the person on the other end of the line is someone I don't know. And she says to me, I know you don't know me, but you've been on my mind for the last couple of hours and I can't get you out. She said, I sit behind you at church, 3 rows back. I don't know if you can figure out who I am, but that's where I sit. And I've been thinking about you. And I'm trying to get her off the phone and get her out of my head and get her out of my life because I got something that I want to do, that I'm just so sad with life, finding it so hard and so difficult that I just want it out. So this woman keeps talking. She goes, well, I don't know why I'm calling you. And so I just have to keep pushing a little bit here. I don't know why I'm calling you. And all of a sudden, I get this little knowing that she was my interrupt. She was the one who interrupted. She got the tap on the shoulder by God and called me. That's where I figure it came from, right? The divine is going, hey, I think you need to make a phone call. So I told her what was going on. We both cried and we were both very surprised that this perfect stranger somehow was able to contact me and stop something. Now, fast forward almost 30 years, right? Oh, just a minute, almost 40 years. Oh, I keep forgetting my age. Fast forward 40 years, and I sit back and I go, oh my gosh, the impact that I've had on lives, the things that I've done just because I felt inspired to do them. I wonder what the full impact is. What's happened because I chose to listen and respond. So here's the thing. I learned a very valuable lesson from that beautiful woman. She taught me something. She taught me that when God speaks, in whatever voice God is speaking in, right, it is time for us to listen, but not just listen. We must take action. We must take action. Somebody's life might be in the mix. So the story that was shared with me, the little video that was shared with me last week that really triggered all this, was a gentleman speaking about an experience he had in a restaurant where he saw this elderly woman come in and she looked so beautiful and she sat at a large table by herself. And then a few minutes later, her family all joined, children, grandchildren, whatever. It was a big, beautiful gathering. And in his mind, he thought, oh, she looks so lovely today. I should tell her that. And so he does. Him and his wife are getting up, ready to leave. He bends down and he tells her, you are so special. And she says to him, I know you. He goes, no, we don't know each other. And she goes, oh yeah, I know your spirit. My husband died a year ago, and he would have told me that. The shoulder tap we get, we never know exactly the impact that it's going to have. But for that gentleman, it changed his life. And for that woman, I guarantee it lifted her as well. Not to mention the other people seated at her table, the rest of her extended family. I had an experience that reminded me of immediately. Pierre and I were on our honeymoon, and we were just stopping for breakfast in Flagstaff, Arizona. We'd left the Grand Canyon. We were on our way to Sedona, and we stopped for breakfast. And, we're just at a Denny's, just having whatever food. And there's a couple, elderly couple, sitting across from us. So they're placing their order, and they're ordering a special off the menu. And the woman says, I'd really like a few hash browns with that. And the waitress says, no, we can't make any changes. And you could see the disappointment on this lady's face. Like all she wanted was, a few hash browns to go with her eggs and stuff. And as I'm watching this scenario and watching that this restaurant does not allow you to change the specials, I thought, wow, that's something. So I turned to Pierre and I said, I'm going to order her some hash browns and we'll just get them put on our bill. And he's going, well, don't you think maybe they'd feel a bit insulted that you would do? And I went, I don't know. I just feel like she deserves to have hash browns with her breakfast. So I called the waitress over, I placed the order. She's looking at me kind of odd, but I placed the order and, I said, just put it on our bill, but take them to her. So the woman gets her hash browns, and before she leaves the restaurant, like she's in utter disbelief, and she comes over and she said, thank you. Like that just made my whole day. Where are you guys from? And we said, oh, we're from Canada. And she goes, oh, Canadians are so great. I don't know what happened to that woman moving forward, but I know in that moment, a little extra joy was brought into her life. And I think it cost us about $2. It was like nothing. And it was just that inner prompting to do something kind. Years ago, when I was married to an alcoholic, I became very fearful whenever I could smell alcohol in anyone's breath. And after I got out of that marriage, it was challenging. If I smelled alcohol at all, I would, kind of pull back. And so I was working on healing that through my meditations and denials and affirmations and trusting that God would guide and protect. And I was riding the bus downtown one day to go do a meditation, and a thought crossed my mind, there's going to be somebody who needs some cash. So I open up my backpack, I take out the change that's in my wallet, $3 or $4, throw it in my pocket. And as I'm walking toward the building where my meditation is being held, there's a gentleman walking toward me. Now, this man is stopping people along the way. Obviously, he's asking for money, and he's a little wobbly. You can tell he's been drinking, and he's kind of staggering along. And the thought that crosses my mind is, this is who the money's for. And I thought, well, okay. So I reach into my pocket and I pull it out, because as he's getting closer, and normally I would have been quite fearful, a stranger on the street who'd been drinking, I didn't feel I could trust people who were drinking. But for that moment, I just felt powerful and strong. And he come up to me and he's looking down like this. And he says, you got a quarter you can spare? And I took his hand and I placed the money in it, and I held my hand over his. And I waited until he looked up at me. And then I said, have a wonderful day. What I gave that man was love in the form of money, right? Because we know that God is everywhere present. So there was God in that. I don't know what he did with it. I don't know if he, continued to drink. I have no idea. All I know is I was blessed in that moment in such a profound way, because a deep healing happened. In the moment that I was able to acknowledge this beautiful human being in front of me who may have been struggling with something I have no idea about. We're being called. We are being called to live the Christ consciousness. And what does that mean? Christ is our way shore. Jesus is our way shore. So what did he do? You know, he talked to the Samaritan woman at the well. He fed the masses. He cleared the temple of the money changers. Jesus taught us a transformational message. And that message is a really important one. But the most important part of it, I think, the most important part of all is listen and respond. Listen to the information that God's giving you. Listen to that shoulder tap and act accordingly. Take the time to pay attention. So over the years, I've had many opportunities to pay it forward. And I've got a lot to pay forward because that woman saved my life. You got to pay it forward. You have to acknowledge, or I had to acknowledge, this immense gift that I had been given from God, because it wasn't about her and it wasn't about me. It was about God prompting someone and them saying yes. But when God prompts me, I just say yes. No point in arguing, no point in sitting back and, waiting till the time is right or the season's right, or waiting until, the perfect moment and the right setup and the right people in front of me so I can go, oh yeah, this feels safe, this feels good, this feels right. It's not about that. It's about giving up fear of this outer world that we might fully embrace the inner, that we might allow the Christ to birth itself in and through us, not someday, but today, right now. To recognize that the messages that come aren't always a voice in our head, but maybe it's somebody in front of us that says something, tells us something, shares something with us. This journey that we're on is really about awakening. Transforming the outer, that we might live from the inside out, that we might start with the Christ, that we might remember who created us and whose we are, and then take that fear and let it go. Stop living only from here and begin to live from that heart center, the place of the divine. This journey that we're on, said it many times, there is no destination. We're here to live, to experience life fully. The only way we can do that is to listen and respond. The only way we can honor the good within us is to listen and respond. And we don't know what the outcome will be on the other end, right? We have no idea. Maybe at the end of our life, maybe there's a life review. We've heard of that, right? Maybe that'll happen. We'll go, oh, that's what happened as a result of my giving. We don't need to know the impact on someone else. We just need to take the time to listen and respond. God is communicating with us constantly and continuously, and in a way that is sometimes a little bit harder to recognize. We get messages, from around us. And I think it's just really important to be thankful for everything that comes and everyone that comes into our life, regardless of what they bring, because what they're bringing is truly a gift. But the only way we can receive it is if we have enough confidence to meet the person where they are. Listen and respond. So I shared a funny story a long time ago of me in a Shoppers Drug Mart and meeting this strange man. Well, he wasn't a strange man. He was just a stranger to me. And I was looking for baking soda. And so I'm looking along the shelves and he's looking kind of in the same area. And I see what I want, and it's right at the very bottom, directly in front of him. And I went, oh, excuse me, I just need to grab one of those. And he goes, oh, that's exactly what I was looking for. And so I just laughed and I went, there you go. We were meant to meet. And he goes, I think so. He goes, I love you. I said, I love you too. And we had this wonderful little exchange. And then he went his way and I went mine, never to be seen again. The exchange was beautiful and warm and lovely. And it was one that I know I couldn't have had, 40 years ago, right? I've been too afraid to talk to a man that I don't know in that way. But it was really a beautiful and fun exchange. And we just, bantered back and forth a little bit. And it was really warm and uplifting and really perfect. We don't know what we're missing when we lock ourselves away. Now, for the last year and a half, we've been locked away, right? So now we're starting to come out of that. We're starting to move forward again. And soon we'll be back in church in person where we can, hug and squeeze each other again, hopefully. This journey is calling us. In the meditation that Carol gave, she talked about the fact that a world, creating a world that works for everyone. Well, I think it already does based on consciousness, but I know that we can create a world that works for everyone's highest and best good, and that it begins with me, it begins with you. That coming to that place of opening our minds and hearts so we can go, yes, I'm a powerful, glorious being created in the image, likeness of God. Therefore, I am perfect, whole, and complete. I have nothing to fear. I have nothing to fear because God is right here where I am, and God is all powerful. It's time to move beyond the stories we've told ourselves. Pierre and I created a program for Genevieve's school when she was in, grade 5 or something. And we created this program for students to teach them the power of their words. And the fact that once the words are out, especially if they're online, you can't pull them back. And so we created this program and we went into the school and we, had the kids do some fun things. And one of the things we had them do was to take toothpaste and create a line. We had them race, right? They were in teams and they had to race so you could empty their tube of toothpaste first. And then we asked them to put the toothpaste back in the tube. Well, of course, that was a bit of a difficulty. I got to say, though, they really did give it a valiant effort when they were trying to put it back in. And I just had to chuckle because I thought, man, you guys are committed. So we stopped them. And one of the teachers cleaned up that lovely mess. And we just talked about the idea that our words have power. And the words that we say to one another matter. And the words that we say to ourselves matter. So how are we speaking to ourselves? How are we speaking to others? How are we speaking to God? And are we listening? Do we listen to each other? Often not, but maybe we should, right? This idea of this divine presence being the very life that we live, the ideas of the journey, the possibility we possess, this idea of just being and allowing. I am created in the image and of the likeness of God. That means I am powerful, knowledgeable, connected to every single person. With that understanding, by listening, I know exactly what to do. I know when to turn away and I know when to connect because we are one. So I don't need to fear you. You don't need to fear me. I don't need to fear, somebody walking down the street. I may choose to avoid them based on a feeling I get here. Not because I don't like them and don't want to connect, but I'm listening. I'm listening to my body. I'm listening to my experiences, not from my head, which tends to operate from the ego perspective, but rather from my heart, which connects in love. It's the place of our connection. So I invite you to think about your life and the things you've done over the years, the things that were positive and uplifting and the things that were, pulling back. I remember being at Shoppers one day. I go to Shoppers a lot. I was at Shoppers one day and the clerk was really kind of grumpy. And so she's doing my stuff and she's not even acknowledging me. And I looked at her and I went, "Are you okay?" And she just kind of stopped for a moment and looked up at me and went, "Yeah, I'm fine." I went, "Oh, okay. I just shop here a lot and I've been through your checkout many times and you're usually so bubbly and I just wanted to check in." And she said, "No, I'm great. I'm great. Thank you so much. Have a great day." And the next person in line, she was like, "Hi, good morning. How are you?" Sometimes just connecting, but doing it in a loving way can make such a big difference. Some of Genevieve's friends tell me all the time how much they love me. And it's like, it's so sweet and beautiful. But they do that because I listen to them. I don't judge or criticize. I just listen and be with them. And that's rewarding to me because they're very smart and they're really brilliant and creative. And I adore them. And we have a nice, fun connection. We tease each other and carry on. And it's all good. We have an opportunity to live life in a new way. Now we're attending Verity Centre for, better living. And so everything about our lives and coming here should be getting better and better day by day and moment by moment. That everything we think, say, and do should be lifted because of the teaching here and because of the way that we're coming to understand our own journey and what it means. And we're taking time in prayer and meditation to clear the doubt and the fear, to listen to the inspiration that comes. To take time to love ourselves enough that we would choose to be loving with others. I don't know about you, but I know I've been separated from everybody far too long. So I'm really excited about reconnecting. And every time I get to be in the room with somebody that I haven't seen for a while, it just makes me bubble. I don't know how else to describe it. This joy bubble that just keeps running up and down. And I'm so grateful, so very grateful, because people are beautiful. We had some new people move in a couple of blocks down from us, and Pierre and I were out for our evening walk, and she was sitting outside under the tree and just enjoying her new yard. So we stopped to say, "Hey, how do you like your new home? And, how do you like the neighborhood?" And it was just a really sweet moment of connecting with her and her husband and just taking a minute to acknowledge somebody. Didn't cost me anything. Couple of minutes of my time, but well worth it. We had a beautiful conversation and connection. I invite you to really pay attention to the messages that God is sending. You have a pain in your body, take your consciousness into that pain and just ask it, what does it want? What does it need? And listen. You will get a message somehow, somewhere along the way that will help you if you will listen and respond. Now, sometimes we get a message we don't like. I've had a few of those, where all of a sudden it's like, phone so-and-so. And you think, well, the last time I talked to so-and-so, we had a fight and we haven't been talking to each other for a while. And I don't really want to phone that person. But if you get the impulse to make that call, do it. If you see somebody on the street and you look at them and go, wow, that person is so beautiful, tell them. Maybe like that woman in the restaurant that gentleman talked to. Maybe they need to hear that from you. We are here as one. There's one thing going on, God. It's infinite, creative, intelligent, all-powerful, all-knowing, everywhere present. So it's right here being me. And if I can take that and tap into that and begin to live from that energy, which is an energy of love, an energy of possibility, then what happens is I can begin to journey along in a really free and lovely way. Like I can just be me. I don't have to try to be acceptable to somebody else. I can just show up as me. And if that means talking to strangers, well, they're only strangers because we haven't met yet. So once we talk, then no longer strangers. We have an opportunity here at Verity to really be as Jesus taught us to be, loving to one another. Because that's what he said, right? Love one another as I've loved you. So I think it's time. It's time that we heal our world, that we stop using phrases like them and us, and we begin to acknowledge the beauty, grace, and goodness of every single human being. We begin to realize everyone is unique and special. Everyone has a little something, something they bring to the planet today that no one else could bring in the way that they do. I invite you to follow your inspiration. Use your imagination. Know that whatever it is that you require to live a fulfilled and satisfied life, you already have it. But you must stop looking out there and begin to look in here. Listen to that still small voice. Listen to the things that come on your path. Pay attention and respond. It's a beautiful thing. Namaskar.
Walking in the middle of the, I'll go 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 walking in the middle of the night. I'm walking in my sleep. From the mountains of fame to a river so deep. I must be looking for something. Some say that I know. But the river is wide and it's too hard to cross. And even though I know the river is wide, I walk down the reef and I stand by the shore. I try to rise to the opposite side so I can finally find what I've been looking for.
In the middle of the night,
Middle of the night, walking in the sleep, valley of fear,
so deep,
river so deep,
something
searching for something
out of my soul.
out of my soul. I never lose
Somebody stole
something somebody stole. I don't know why I'm walking. I'm tired and I don't want to walk anymore. I hope it doesn't take the rest of my life until I find what it is I've been looking for. In the middle of the night, I'm walking in my sleep. Through the jungle of night, through the river so deep. I know I'm searching for something so hard to find. That I can only see by the eyes of the blind. In the middle of the night, in the middle of the, I go walking 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 in the middle of the night. I'm walking in my sleep. Through the desert through to a river so deep. We've all been in the ocean. We all started the street. We're all carried along by the river of trees. In the middle of the night. In the middle of the, I go walking 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 in the middle of the, in the middle of the night.
Oh, thank you, Voices of Praise. That was beautiful, beautiful. I love that song. Such a good one. Well, it is that time in our service when we give back of our good. And so, as we're passing the virtual basket, I want to invite you to read along with me the offering blessing. Together, please. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. All is well, and so it is. And as you are giving this gift, I want you to think about the journey that we've walked together, especially during COVID, this time when we've been able to connect and share positive, inspiring messages and just to love and be with each other when times have been challenging or hard. And I invite you to bless Verity in the way that you have been blessed by this teaching. It is in giving back, in giving of our tithes and offerings, that we plant the seeds for the future growth of this incredible organization. So I know that a blessing's been given through music, through meditation, through a message, and I know that the blessings abound as we return that favor in the form of money and service. So we're truly, truly grateful for all that you give and all that you do. So let us just join together as we do that. Let's just go to how we can give. The important information right now. Tithes and offerings. So there's lots of ways you can give. You can give by e-transfer to admin@veritycenter.org. That's a great way to give. It's so easy. Also, Canada Helps. You can go to Canada Helps and Verity Centre for Better Living, Inc. and give your gift that way. And of course, we still accept cash and checks. Cash, of course, would come in if you came to the church when it's open. Be sure to call in. And if you want to mail something in, you can do that. You can mail it to our office at 447 Vaughan Road, Toronto, M6C 2P as in Paul 4. And now let us join together in consciousness as we bless this day, this offering, and all of the prayer requests that have come in this week. Please join with me now. As I take a deep breath in, I quiet my mind. I listen to my heart. I allow love to be the guiding light and force for all that I think, say, and do. And I know that as I sit in that place of love and appreciation, that I feel the flow and energy of life here at Verity with all of our members and friends, regardless of where we are in the world. I feel the energy and love bubbling up from within. And this energy is expanding and growing. And when it comes to my finances, as I give, so shall I receive. And this money is growing and expanding. The gifts that are given to Verity are expanding and growing. The investments are growing. The prosperity, the value of our buildings growing and expanding. Everything's getting bigger. And for that, I'm truly, truly grateful. Grateful for the gifts and the blessings. And I know too, for every prayer request that has come in, for every person who has dealt with a challenge this past week or in the past few weeks, what I know is God is right here. God is the energy of life itself. It is the vibration of love. It is fully present and available moment by moment to each and every one of us. God is here being me. God is there being you. So trusting in that process, trusting in that divine oneness, that unity. I take a breath and I know that whatever's in the highest and best good for all concerned is fully realized right here, right now. With a grateful, thankful heart, I release these ideas into the law of mind, and I know it is done. All is well, and I let it be so. And so it is. And let us say together our closing affirmation, the prayer of protection. Together, please. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is. And so it is. And remembering Sunday school today, 3 p.m., not 4. And our closing song, let's celebrate life with Voices of Praise.
Let's celebrate life. Let's give celebrate freedom, peace, and love each day of the year. Let's run up a flag so people will know that life is great when you start living. Ready, set, glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. The truth has set us free. Let's celebrate life. Let's give it a song. Let's sing about peace and love and freedom all the day long. Let's fire a salute so people will say it's great to be alive and living in the glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. The truth has set us free. Let's celebrate lives. Let's give it a toast. Let's talk about freedom, peace, and all the things we love most. Let's set up a plan so people will shout. Life is great when you start living. Come create a life worth living. Celebrate the life you're living. Sing it right.